podcast. I'm Darbi.
And I'm Kaitlin.
And we are kicking off a new series for the month of love. It is February, and so we want to talk about relationships, friendships, marriage, all the ships, because it's so important.
Yes, it is so important.
Such a big part of our life is about relationships, the good ones and the bad ones.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. So we're going to hit it.
Yeah, today we're going to talk mostly about friendships. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a worthy topic because we all want friends, don't we?
Yeah, mostly we do.
Mostly.
Some days.
Just one.
One.
We all want friends. We all want to be a friend. Yeah. But sometimes it's easier said than done.
Oh,
right? And you feel like it's going to be a natural thing, and it's not always natural.
No.
It's not like you were when you were in kindergarten and everybody was your friend. You know?
Yeah, just because you like the same candy or something, you know?
Right, exactly.
And now it's so much more complicated. Hard. Yeah.
But it's worth talking about because who your friends are make who you are, right?
Oh, I know. I just had this conversation with Mike. I said, who are your, good friends? And he's listing them, and a couple of them I'm like, okay, birds of a feather. So, what is this telling me about my spouse? Oh, my goodness. Or your kids or whatever. I mean, because it's true. Birds of a feather flock together.
Well, as we were just talking about this, I'm thinking, we think how important it is for, the friends that you make when you're in kindergarten and first grade and second grade. They're so important, but they are equally as important as when you're 30 years old. Your friends are as equally as important.
Yeah.
And so we just kind of want to dive into just the real talk of being a friend, of having friends, of why quality friends, are worth pursuing. So, Darbi, do you have any initial thoughts?
Well, just quality over quantity, right? Okay? I think just out the gate, people, we got to have quality over quantity. I find that to be true the older I get on a lot of things.
Yeah, right.
Okay? Dishes and a vacuum.
Yes.
There are things that you're like, I don't need a bunch of them.
Yeah, just need one.
I need some
really
good ones. I need a good purse.
Yeah.
I need a good pair of jeans.
That's right.
Come on. So, it's just...
I agree.
Immediately.
Yeah, I was just looking through the Bible. In the back of my Bible, it has all of these topics. And then, friendship is one of them. And it has lists all the verses that talk about friendship and friends. And so I was looking and, of course, Proverbs has lots about friendships. Yeah. And these are they're pretty point blank. Okay, Proverbs 24:24. Is it 24? Or 22, I don't know. I can't read my handwriting. It says, make no friendship with a man given to anger, nor go with a wrathful man, lest you learn his ways and entangle you in a snare. Ooh, yikes. Okay, Proverbs 13:20 says, whoever walks with the wise becomes wise, but they can... a companion of fools will suffer harm. Okay, so what do those say? At the same time, they both say, whoever you choose to walk with, you become more like.
Yes.
If you choose to walk with the wise, likely you'll become more wise. If you choose to walk with the angry, likely you'll become more angry.
Oh,
right?
It's so true.
Yeah.
We tell this to our kids.
Yeah.
Right? And we're making these same judgments when, your kids have friends that you're like, can't let them hang out with that kid because that kid doesn't behave and I can't have my kid picking up those habits. But then as we get older, somehow we can justify, well, it's okay that they're drinking too much. It's okay that they talk bad about these people. It's okay they don't go to church. I can handle it. Right? But we can't.
They're not rubbing off on me.
No. I'm the strong one.
Right.
I'm mission friending. Right. I'm mission dating.
Oh, they're my ministry.
Jesus was with sinners.
Oh my gosh. We have all said those things.
We have all said those
things. And how
things.
ridiculous do they sound?
I know.
Because it's just not real. Yeah. Because we just have to say it is what it is. You will become who you are around.
Yeah.
And that can be for a really great thing. We've talked about this before. The more time you spend with Jesus, the more of his nature you take on yourself.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with friendships. The more you spend time around this person or that person, you take on their nature. And it's just kind of this thing that naturally happens. You're not necessarily asking for it to happen, but it happens.
That's it. No, it does.
Yeah. So, I think we just wanted to spend some time talking about what are the qualities of a really good, healthy friendship. Because those are the type of qualities that you want to look, okay, and just examine in your own friendships today. Do I see these type of qualities in my friendships today? Do I not? Do I agree with these things? And I think it's just something to always consider, because it's really important who you allow in your life, the influence that they have.
Yeah, and it's not to say you can't be friends with people that don't share. So I just want to clear that up. It's okay to be friends with those people. It's how much you're allowing them to speak into your life.
Right, exactly.
And how much are you actually able to speak into theirs on the important things that you believe.
Yeah, my dad, when I went through kind of a weird just time in my life of figuring out friendships, he kind of gave me this, I don't know what you call it. I don't know. He told me, he's like, Kaitlin, think of it in this way. Like, you have your inner circle. These are your number one friends. And this is a very small list.
Yeah.
It's like 1 or 2 or 3 people. But they are like really close to you. They're your best friends. They're the best kinds of friends to you. Okay, so you have that circle. It's a really small circle. Then you move out. These are kind of your, and you're not saying like, yeah, you're my number 1 and you're my number 2 and it's like, this is
no
for
ranking.
This is for your mind. But okay, I'm number 2. I'm like, okay, these are friends that I value. I like spending time with them. We don't spend tons of time, but when we do, it's good. We have fun together. I like them. We're kind of on the same page, but you have your number 1, you have number 2. Okay, then your number 3 is kind of more like acquaintances. Like, I know who these people are. I like them. We are kind to each other. We value each other. We probably don't spend time really at all together, but you know about them. You know what I mean?
You do things together.
Yeah, I mean,
events
maybe in groups of people, but they're more of an acquaintance. But I think when you establish that within your mind, you're able to really be able to help in a healthy way, pour into people in a way that is going to be healthy for you and healthy for them. You're able to establish expectations of friendships, right?
Yeah.
Because you're not going to expect the same thing from your best friend as something, from the acquaintance that you have. Like, that's not healthy, and that's not fair on anybody.
Right.
To have those same expectations. So in your mind, it's never like a thing that you have to be like, okay, where is this person at? It's like, it's obvious, right?
Right.
It's obvious who my best core friends are. These people know everything there is to know about me. I trust them, and then so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's kind of helpful to know that.
Yeah.
In terms of friendship.
And I think that can change, right? As people change.
Absolutely.
You have people that are like, man, she was my best friend for like 5 years.
Yeah.
But then, things happen in life and they're not. And so there's seasons for certain friends too.
Totally. And I think it's okay to release them with zero hard feelings. Like, man, the Lord knew we needed each other for this time in our life, and thank God that we had each other.
Yeah.
And now we're able to go and just kind of be that same kind of friend to other people. So it's okay to release those friendships too when the timing is obvious.
Yeah, Mike and I had this family that we were great friends with. I mean, they were just our best friends. They were military though, so when they got stationed in Japan, they left, went to Japan, and when they came back, we were able to still pick up right where we left.
That's
thanks
cool.
to FaceTime and things like that. And their kids were same age as our kids, and so it just was so much fun. But after a while, we began to walk out our faith a little differently than they did, and the circumstances weren't aligning anymore with sports and kids and life, and so we just finally had a moment where we kind of separated, and it was painful. It was painful, and I'll be honest, it didn't end well. And I'll never forget the day when she kind of said, "Please don't ever text me again,"
Oh, man.
And I thought, wow, after all those years, that's how this ends. But I also had to release her and release that. And I just told her, man, I'm so sorry for how this ended. I truly love you and wish the very best for you. And I wish that so much for them.
Yeah.
But I had to be okay letting them go and trusting that, okay, God, if you're asking me to let this person go, who are you trying to bring into my life that maybe I'm missing the person that needs to be in the next season because I can't let this person go. And it doesn't make them bad or you bad.
Right.
It's just about trusting the Lord with the friendships in your life.
Yeah, I agree.
You know?
Totally. Totally. If we were just to practically talk about, the marks of a healthy friendship, I think that it's kind of a short list, but it's a stout list. And I think the first thing, if I think about what a healthy friendship in my life right now, I'm 28 years old. What am I looking for in a friend? And can we just say it is not easy to make friends as an adult? Quality friends, and as a married adult.
Oh, because you're kind of like finding a friend that you like and then your spouse likes. So it's like four people that have to align. It's like four personalities that you're like, I hope this works. So it's hard. So just know, like, if you're like, I'm struggling, girl. Been there. Done that.
Get it.
Yep.
But for me, if I'm just a quality of a really great friend, if we're talking about just really close, good friends, is I want to know that they are pursuing a personal relationship with the Lord within themselves. They are growing. They are taking steps to grow in their faith with the Lord.
That's a good one.
Right?
Absolutely.
I mean, because
that's a non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable.
I think.
Like it's like you want to be equally yoked with your spouse. You want to be equally yoked with your friend. Like.
Well, because that's driving every decision, all your time.
Exactly.
There's just not enough time to explain it to someone who doesn't believe.
No, it just, baseline. Okay, we're both growing. We're both care about. Okay, and then another thing is just communication. Ooh, communication.
Well, we're not good at that.
No, we're not. We're not good, like, in a marriage. We're not good in a friendship. We're not good at it.
Which is funny because we're talking all the time.
But what are we saying?
I don't think useful things usually. Hopefully we are, though, right?
I know, right? Hopefully this whole thing is all about words, and hopefully they're good. I feel like the mark of a good friendship is you're honest. You talk about things. You put it all out there. You're willing to just be transparent with somebody. I think I have learned that sometimes, like, as you get closer to somebody, you feel like you can't always be honest because you're like, I feel like I'm going to make this weird or...
Yeah, it's going to hurt them. I don't want to hurt them. Right. I don't want to offend them. But it's weird because you're close enough to know that probably wouldn't happen, but yet the fear is still there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. And I think about, like, if I were talking about my mom, like, I have no problem being honest with my mom. She has no problem being honest with me. And I think it's because, like, our relationship is established. I know that she will love me unconditionally.
Right.
No matter what. If I say something that hurts her feelings, we're going to talk about it, get through it, but we're going to get back to a good place. Sometimes with a friend, you're like, oh, is this going to, like...
Well, it's like a choice. They have a choice, whereas like your spouse, your mom, your kid, at some point, they're kind of stuck with you regardless.
Exactly.
But a friend can kind of go,
yeah, I'm kind of done with this.
I'm not choosing you anymore.
So, I mean, I think that, I think it's just worth... I mean, if you see value in this friendship, it's worth investing in it and being honest with them and communicating, and then being willing to be like, okay, if that hurt your feelings, be honest about it. If you don't agree, be honest about it. You have to.
One thing practically that I have tried to learn to do, still learning to do, is if I feel there's a frustration that I have with a friend, I try to write it out, whether it's in an email or an actual letter. I've done this with my spouse also. Because sometimes we get real caught up in our feelings and it's like our own opinions. And I have to say, okay, Darby, your opinion is not the only opinion. And, what does God say about this? And so I let there be some time to reflect. Yeah. And I'm talking about not a little thing. I'm talking about this is a big thing. So I want to be able to see my feelings about a situation and apply God's truth, sit on it a while, see, do I feel this way 3 days from now? Okay, because then if I do that, and then I can usually find the root of the problem. Yeah. Is the root my own insecurity, or is the root an actual issue that I need to take to this friend and say, hey, I've really thought about this, and I love you, so I feel like I need to say this to you. And that's good. I think that's a practical thing that if you're like me and struggle communicating your emotions, that's something that I do to kind of really see how I feel.
So, I feel like I'm hearing what you're saying is like you're trying not to act out of emotion. You're trying to say, okay, just lay it all out there. See what you're feeling. See, does it match with, with maybe what they did or said, or is it from a deeper issue? and just not try and lash out in the moment.
Yeah, and because sometimes it's my issue. It's not my friend's issue, but I want to make it theirs because isn't that always what we want? It's your problem, not mine.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to fix this about yourself. But sometimes it's within me. Yeah. And ultimately what I'm doing is I'm praying for my friend, which, by the way, if you're not praying for your friends, like you need to analyze what kind of friend you are, because I always want to say in any relationship, God, like, help me see this person the way you do.
Yeah.
Help me to pray for them, because maybe God's like, actually, I'm already working that out in their heart. Yeah, you don't have to say anything. Yeah. Just pray for them.
That's good.
Be amazed at what God will work out.
And just to know that, your good friend is praying for you, like, it just means so much, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's such a selfless thing to do.
Yeah.
I love that. That's
for
good.
Sure. Pray for your friends.
Okay. Another thing that I thought of was, friendships that are encouraging, uplifting. They're not downers. You can be honest if you're in a mood or you're in a funk. Yeah, put it out there. Be honest. But like the consistency across the board this is an encouraging friendship. This friendship makes me feel better, like about life, about myself, about everything. It's not like pulling me down.
Yeah.
Because I think when we're, when you're around people that are just kind of like, I don't know, a dark cloud.
Icky,
like you're like, oh, smile, or like, that was so, it's kind of negative. Like, if you just can't, just like, I don't know, you can't help but you feel like the same way. And you, it's just like, birds of a feather, you just kind of start feeling that way too.
Yeah. Kind of gets your feathers icky.
Yeah. Icky and sticky. Yeah.
I think that's so important, though, right? Because, come on, we all have had people in our lives that did not make us feel better about ourselves.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes that's a you issue, and you got to work on that. But then there are some times where you need to really analyze, like, why do I allow this person in my life that isn't encouraging me to do better?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because most of the time, there's something going on within them that's like, it's just kind of coming out, and they may not even be aware of it, but you are. So I think that's just a mark of a good friendship. It's healthy, it's uplifting, it's encouraging, it's joy-filled.
Well, because I remember back when Mike and I were younger, and you'd have friends that just wanted to party.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah. And so when I'd ask them about it, they're like, well, I just want you guys to be happy. And I'm like, listen, what's best for us is probably not going to make us happy right now. So I want to be more concerned with what so really what we're saying is not just that they be encouraging and optimistic, but do they want what's actually best for you? Are they for your marriage?
That's good.
Because a good friend isn't going to tell you to leave your husband.
That's right.
Do they care about your kids? Are they going to show up for your kids? Because they're going to want to love them as much as you do.
Yeah.
Do they get involved with the things that you're involved with? They don't have to do everything with you, but they should be there to support you.
Yeah, that's right.
When there's something, if I call some of my best friends and I say, I need you here, if they aren't coming, I got an issue.
Yeah, that's right.
So those are just some practical, I just feel like I need to say those things. Like your good friend should want what's best for you, not just your happiness.
And even if it's, there's some truth that's got to be spoken, that's when I've got a friend that's looking out for me and looking out for the bigger picture that's going on here, looking out for my faith to increase and me to know what's right and wrong according to the Word of God. And so that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you're like, oh, I don't want to create any tension. I don't want any weird vibes, whatever.
Yeah.
But if you know that some truth needs to be spoken, you can always say it in a way that is still encouraging and still uplifting. It does not have to be an argument ever.
No, we've got to get better at hard conversations because that's right. Jesus did it all the time. He confronted truth, and he wasn't afraid of it because he's like, I love you. I'm here with you. I'm in it with you. I'm not leaving you. I'm not calling you out and leaving you, but I am saying you're better than this. And in the long run, I want to see your marriage thrive. I want to see you happy. They do want your happiness, but ultimately what's going to bring you happiness is also the things that are going to be best for you.
Right.
Yeah,
that's right.
So it's just taking those hard conversations. Although I will say I am the kind of personality that I don't mind conflict. I actually walk away from conflict going, wow, don't you feel so loved? I feel so loved. My husband hates it because he doesn't like conflict. And I'm like, wow, we had that amazing fight. That was so good. I know you. You know
love
me.
each other. We love each
other. So I'll toss
more.
that out there as a disclaimer.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Oh, okay. And then I think just kind of another thing I was thinking about was just consistency in a friendship.
That's good.
Which requires time spent together. It means sometimes, like, you just tell each other about your day. Just to have the conversation, just to keep each other like in the loop, and I think you involve yourself in each other's lives. I heard Michael Todd say one time, he was talking about marriages, but he said outserve one another, and I think that you can do that in a friendship too. Like you're always, you're just trying to bless one another, whether it's through words or action or looking for opportunities for each other. I can say for sure, like, Darbi, I feel like she's always looking out for, okay, this would be a great thing for Kaitlin to do, or she's so good with words and just blessing people with uplifting words. Just like sending a text, hey, I'm thinking about you, hey, I'm praying about you. That's what the Lord said. Like when you're consistently doing that in a friendship, like it just creates such a firm foundation.
Yeah. I have always said presence is the best presence.
Yeah.
Because, don't get me wrong, I love gifts. But when it comes to just people in your life and love, like your presence, just being there, it means so much. Over the years, I've just looked back and gone, the ones that were consistently there for me, the ones that loved my marriage even when it was a mess, loved my kids when they couldn't behave, loved me when I sinned. That's what has stood out to me. And those are the friendships that have made it across the years. And that, I think, moving forward is what I'm still seeking and wanting to be also. And that takes communication and the encouragement of like, hey, I need you here. I've had to learn to say, this is actually important to me. And then sometimes I'll say, hey, you know what? I don't care. I don't care that you come to my party. I'm cool. And I mean it.
Yeah.
So I think your points have been awesome. Yeah.
Well, that was about the fastest 20 minutes ever. Wasn't it?
And we could probably go on and on because I'm still just thinking like, oh, we need to talk about this.
Maybe we should. Maybe we'll have a part 2.
For sure, maybe this needs to be talked about some more. But
yeah, because I think even if you're 15 years old, if you're 30, if you're 50, I think you can look at your life and say, okay, do I have just at least one like friend that I can count on that loves me, that loves the Lord, that I want to spend quality time with? If you don't, it's okay. Like start looking, start praying, start asking the Lord for a friend.
Yeah. The prayer thing I go back to because when I was in my 20s, I remember there were these 2 girls on social media that I knew from church. And they were together every picture, every time I saw them, every event. They had the cutest pictures. They were best friends. They did everything together. And I thought, man, I would just kill for one good friend like that. And I wouldn't say I envied their friendship, but I definitely wanted one like that. And I just started praying, like, God, like, bring me that friend. And I prayed for several years. And that also meant I had to go through a season of reconciling the broken ones in my life and cleaning that up. But once I made room with the bad friendships that I had to let go and I mended the ones that were hurting, man, God's just multiplied the good friends I had. So actually, don't just pray for the ones you have. Pray that God would bring them to you, the right ones.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. So part 2 is coming.
Okay, part 2. See ya.